Good evening, guys. Welcome to the very first ever Resident Evil Challenger. I was about to say Challenger. Resident Evil Challenger Q&A, questions and answers. So yeah, a little bit of a different concept. We've not done this before, but yeah, we thought we'd give it a go. As we've got about 15 years of stories and things to relive and to take all of your questions and answers. So before we get into that, we're continuing on with our fundraising. We did an amazing job during the randomizer stream last week. So again, a huge thank you to everyone who helped out with that. We raised 560 quid last Friday, which was amazing. So we're now above 11.5k, which is amazing. And yeah, the charity that we're fundraising for at the moment is for the Healthcare Workers Foundation. We are donating towards the family fund to support those on the front lines who lost their lives from COVID-19 last year. So we also unveiled this week that we actually have some brand new Resident Evil Challenger merchandise available. So we've rebranded everything now in blue, which I know you guys are enjoying. So we've completely rebranded our logo and we've got some brand new t-shirts in the NHS blue, as you can see here now. So we've got two designs available. And if you just go into the video description and send an email through, we could take your order and all of the donations will be going towards that charity. But in the meantime, I know that you want to ask us some questions and answers, and how it's going to work tonight is if you write in your questions into the live chat, we'll try and answer them, but any questions that are asked through donations will definitely be read this evening. So yeah, get your questions into us now. But yeah, I'm not going to be doing this alone. I will be joined with my long-time co-hosts, Nathan and Izzy. How are you doing, guys?
Hey.
Hey.
How you doing?
I'm good. I'm very good. Yourself?
Yeah, doing good. Yeah.
Good.
I'm not too bad as well, thank you. How's lockdown 3 been for you so far?
Not very different.
Yeah.
Still working and still not able to see anyone. But yeah, it's well, it is what it is, isn't it? It's not a lot you can do.
Yeah, just got to keep trucking through.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Have you been able to get much gaming in recently?
Not a huge amount between lots of things. I haven't. After we did the challenge, I played a lot of Resident Evil 3 just to do go through like the difficulties and get as many points as possible. I think in the sort of month after we did the 2020 challenge, I think I must have played it through about 4-5 times.
Wow! Big fan of Resident Evil 3 Remake then.
Yes. Yeah. I'm gonna pick it up again and then have a play around with it again. But I want to try to see how quick I can do it. And yeah, no, it's just I really enjoy the game. I just if only it was a bit longer. But no, it's good.
Mate, if you want the game to be a bit longer, try out Inferno mode. You'll probably get a good 15 hours out of that. I've got my live stream on that next week, and I genuinely think that might end up being a two-parter because, yeah, Final Nemesis, I think, is going to be a massive problem. But anyways, let's start this Q&A session. So we've been asked one question already by Chris the Batman, who couldn't make it for the time being, but he sent me a question in advance. So this is out to both of you. It says, what do you feel a Resident Evil challenge means to you? Is a Resident Evil challenge of skill, or is it of the mind? Is it more skill focused, or is it more strategy? Let's go over you, Nathan. What does the Resident Evil challenge mean to you?
I truly believe it's, well, I really enjoy the companionship. I think it's more about like, well, us as a friendship. I knew you were going to interrupt. I do. I'll be with you in a minute, okay? Right. Anyway, I'll tell you what, you answer first.
Shall I go first? You can go deal with
Yeah. 2 minutes.
Oh, bless him. He wants to be part of this so much.
He does. Celebrating his 5th birthday a couple of days ago, little Logan.
Yeah.
Can't believe it's been 5 years already. Like that is crazy.
Yeah,
but yeah,
I know.
let's,
It's mental.
what does the challenge mean to you, Izzy?
I think for me, yeah, probably very similar answer to Nathan. It was just such a cool thing to sort of grow up watching. Obviously, being so young when you first started out, I wasn't 100% sure what's going on. All I knew was that you guys were kind of playing scary games and that you had this sort of time limit with it. But then when you started evolving and you kind of introduced more difficult stipulations, when you did your solo challenges as well, it just kind of made me realize how important it was to you both as individuals, and through that it became really important to me as well. Like I've always said that REC is one of the best things in my life, and that's more evident now than it ever has been.
Izzy. Oh, that's lovely. That's really nice. I mean, yeah, exactly the same to us. I mean, I've kind of said this before in other videos, but just like, it's absolutely amazing that you were there from the very first Resident Evil challenge that we did nearly 16 years ago now. You were there, you were like 4 or 5 years old at the time. And I just remember like how much wonder that you had, like, just seeing like both of us there, like shooting zombies and staying awake all night, drinking Lucozade. Like you always had like such a passion for it. You're always like really interested by it. And yeah, there was, like as people grow up and they get older, people like find different things that they're interested in or they lose interest in stuff. But I felt that there was never one moment where that ever happened with you. Like you always had that exact same passion and everything. And yeah, it's amazing that us three, nearly 16 years on now are still, here together doing this stuff. So yeah, that's it's amazing stuff. But yeah, Nathan, what's the Resident Evil challenge mean to you?
Yeah, I really enjoy the companionship of it. I think it's brilliant. Like, I think it always brings us together. Doesn't matter if on the odd occasion where we haven't like talked in a while or anything, our friendship always comes back. So I always really enjoy that. It's always nice to have that. I find that as much as with the challenge, you can practice as much as you want. You can do as much research. You can make as many notes until once you're about 14 hours through, it all goes out the window pretty much anyway. Because it's just like you get stuck on one boss, like Nosferatu, for instance, and it just becomes quite grinding. But then I kind of enjoy it in a way, in a weird way. But it's no, I think willpower comes into that game a lot.
Oh, 100%.
Especially if you get dealt some like the lucky dips, like in 2020, I really loved the idea, but it was just like as soon as like pulling out Resident Evil Code Veronica, it was just like, God.
You could just feel like the collaborative like groan as you pulled it out. It's like, this is going to be an interesting one. But then really absolutely,
it was great to play it again. But yes.
Yeah.
No.
Well, my turn next. I want to go on Code Veronica. I feel like I haven't played Code Veronica in front of everyone for ages. But kind of following on from your answer. It is my game. I have done it to death, to be fair. But yeah, I do miss it. But I mean, I totally agree with you that willpower does seem to be like the most important aspect, I find, for doing this. Like, just, we've always had that kind of thing where no matter how many times you've died or no matter how frustrated you are, you just have to keep picking up the pads and persevering with it.
Yeah.
So, right, I've realised how many questions we've got coming through. So I probably need to answer these a little bit more efficiently. So the next question we've got through is from Wolfie. And Wolfie asks, what's the first Resident Evil game you remember completing? Starting with you, Izzy, actually.
God, yeah.
That's actually really, really difficult for me to answer because I know that I was really young when I first completed 3 original, but I don't actually remember doing it. It's so weird because like you yeah, you were just sort of so young at that point where you literally just have no recollection as an adult of doing it, but you know somewhere that you did. So I would probably have to say probably 4 would be probably the Wii version of 4.
Okay.
Would probably be my first one that I can properly recollect actually going through for the first time and being sort of shit scared by the trolls and yeah.
Oh yeah, I
Yes,
can imagine that
doing
being
the whole boulder
terrifying
thing.
at a
Yeah.
young age. How about you, Nathan? What was the first Resident Evil you remember finishing?
Again, it's my memory is terrible for a start. My earliest memory of it. Just 1 minute, mate. You should be asleep anyway. The first memory I have is actually Resident Evil Remake, which I think we played together.
Yep.
And I always remember the staircase with the bird cage at the bottom, because I can't remember what it was. I was fighting something and just running back, and it was like, oh, there's some
That's
ammo
such
there.
a specific memory.
Yeah, it's one that always really randomly sticks. But I think the first, it's either it's either 3 or 0. I can't quite remember. It's definitely one of the two. You're waving at the wrong thing.
Go on, Logan. Go on, Logan. Give us a wave.
Go on, Logan.
Big wave.
Hey, buddy.
Hey! Hello, Logan.
Hi, buddy.
You are live to 46 people right now. So,
Yeah, it's a camera.
oh, it's a camera.
Look, you're talking to everybody on YouTube.
Wait.
Say RE Challenger.
No.
No. Right. I'm going to take you back to bed. Right. I'll be at 2 minutes again.
Hey!
No worries, mate. Bye-bye, Logan.
Bye, Logan.
Good night.
So what's your first memory of what RE game you completed, Luke?
I can remember this very, very specifically. So the very first Resident Evil I played was the original Resident Evil 1. Me and Guardian Jay were playing that together, and we were actually way too scared to actually finish it. Which, like, yeah, it was absolutely terrifying because I was 7 years old when we were playing it. And so then the next Resident Evil I got was Resident Evil 2 for my 8th birthday. I remember asking my mum, can I get Resident Evil 2 for my 8th birthday? She's like, yep, sure. Like, no qualms about it being like a 15 like rated game at all. And yeah, that was actually the first one that I finished. So yeah, Resident Evil 2 was my first one. And yeah, my memories of it were being absolutely terrified, but I just got like quite hooked to that feeling. It just brought out sort of like an emotion that, you know, I hadn't really got from many other things. And I think that's why I've been so hooked to it, really. Cool, okay, so these questions are stacking up, so I'm going to start moving through them. The next question is from Gaudi, and believe it or not, it isn't actually about Resident Evil 6. It says, Luke, do you feel that your early filming, editing of Resident Evil Challenger helped steer you towards your current career path? 100%. I mean, Nathan can definitely attest to this as well, that, you know, recovery operation and all of like the trailers and stuff that we've made, they've always had the production value of like, you know, of like short films and things like that. And it was making those kind of things that, you know, I really sort of gained my passion for doing it. I mean, when I went to college, I was originally doing video game development, but after like a year of doing it, I realized that I just didn't want a career just in front of a computer, just building trees for the next 50 years of my life. So I kind of panicked about like going to uni. I didn't really know what I was going to do next. And yeah, the next kind of thing that I had in mind was filming, because we'd done loads of filming with like the Dare Show and Dumbass, Resident Evil Challenger. It was something that I was really enjoying doing. So I was like, cool, I'll go with this. And so it was totally on a whim. I went and did it at uni. And that was like 12 years ago or so, and I haven't looked back. So yeah, Resident Evil Challenger was definitely a big part of that. Right, next question, just going to bring it up, is from Taj. And Taj says, what's a stipulation that you haven't done that you would like to try? Starting with Izzy. Okay, let's go to Nathan. we'll come back to you. Have a think on that. Have a think on that.
Yeah, I'll have a think of that. Yeah.
I think there's two that really spring to mind. One of them is suicidal, which is normal mode on 0, knife only.
Oh!
And I know that is proven very difficult for. I can't remember the channel's name now. Remind me. Let's talk Resident Evil. I know they've had lots of trouble with it, and one day I might even start trying to do it and see how it goes. And I'll definitely, if I do it, I'll do some updates on the Bat Boss just to see if it's even physically possible.
Mate, I think you should do that as a live stream sometime. I think I personally would be so interested to see how well you could do with that. I know that Benjamin Griffiths, he actually sent me a message about an hour before this started. He actually is playing it at the moment, trying to do it, because, I don't know anyone that's been able to do it before. Surely it's got to be doable, but he's trying it out at the moment. But that is one of the unsolved mysteries, I feel, Resident Evil Challenger.
Yeah. Definitely
How
would
about
like
you,
to give that a go.
Oh, sorry to cut you off.
don't know.
I hate Skype and this. There's always like a delay, and as I start speaking, then someone else speaks. So sorry if I feel like I'm interrupting.
That's all right.
But Izzy.
I mean, I don't particularly dabble too much with stipulations, so I guess kind of in general, sort of expanding on giving them a try. Like I haven't done anything for sort of like 3 and 2 remake or anything like that. So going through one of those, maybe handgun only or something like that, would be really interesting. Maybe doing sort of knife only on 3 remake would be quite cool to go through as well. But one thing I've always hated about any Resident Evil game is the knife mechanics. Doesn't matter which one it is. I hate the knives. I just can't would rather not use them. I use them all right on 4. That's about the only exception to that rule. But the knives, no, absolutely not. So it would be really interesting.
You need to try out the hot dogger.
Yeah,
the hot dogger is like a knife I look forward to using. It is a sweet ass knife.
Go on then, Luke. What's your dream stipulation or nightmare stipulation?
So it's funny. I asked you guys that question. I didn't actually really think about it myself. That is What do I want to do? Actually, there is one that is. I guess it's not really a dream, but there is a stipulation that I would like to try that I haven't done yet, and that's on Code Veronica. I was thinking of doing a bowgun only challenge with no knife. So it sounds really simple because obviously you get the bowgun and the flame arrows and everything. But the tricky part of it is that the transition between Claire and Chris. So you'd have to keep the bowgun with Claire to fight Nosferatu. So that means you'd have to do all of Chris's section without any weapons. You'd have to literally just run around the zombies and everything. Yeah. Actually, as I say it, I just realised that stipulation is completely impossible because then when you go back as Chris to the Alexia boss fight, you wouldn't have been able to go back to the box to get the bowgun. So ignore that. That whole stipulation actually wouldn't even work. So
what if you did? What if you did Claire bowgun only and Chris knife only?
The thing is, that would still be easier than just general knives only, because then you've still got the bowgun.
Yeah, true.
To use. So
right, bowgun, no flame powder.
Yeah, that would be a good one. Yeah,
that'd almost be impossible, I reckon.
I mean, the bowgun is just so. The bowgun is actually weaker than the knife, so that would be.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be a good stipulation. Need to have a think about that. Yeah, that's tricky.
Yeah.
But anyways, so, next question is from Guardian J that says, what are your hopes for Resident Evil 8? Anything you want Capcom to rethink or bring back? Mechanics, story, anything like that?
Go on, Iz, you go first.
I've got quite a negative opinion on the first person side of 7, so I guess that would kind of be my sort of, if I could get Capcom to do anything, it would be to put it back into third person. But then again, with the sort of setting and everything.
What's your beef with the first person? What is it you don't like about it?
I enjoy first person games. You know, I play first person games a lot. I think for me it doesn't feel enough like Resident Evil because you're so used to being able to see over your character's shoulder.
Right.
And like to a degree that makes it scarier because you can almost see what's coming up behind you as well. Like obviously you can only see in front of you when you're in first person, but you can kind of get a gauge of what's actually around you as well. But yeah, if I could get them to change anything, it would be to put 8 back to sort of, even if it wasn't fixed camera, even if it was just over the shoulder like 2 and 3 remake, like that for me, those were the kind of the perfect mechanics for 2 and 3.
Yeah,
but that's
I
just
agree
my
with
own
you.
personal opinion. Yeah.
I would love just to have zombies back.
Yeah.
No, it sounds really silly.
That's a very fair point.
Because, don't get me wrong, love 4. 4 is one of my favourite games, and it's probably the better one. But it's as soon as they start shooting back at you with, like, guns,
it gets a bit ridiculous, right?
It just seems to lose the Resident Evil appeal, I guess.
It turns very action then.
100%.
Yeah. Don't get me wrong, I really like I say, Resident Evil 4 is a really good game. I really do quite like 5.
Yeah.
It's not the best game. Even 6, I quite like 6, especially Leon's one. Leon 1 I really enjoy. Can't comment on 7 properly yet because obviously I haven't actually done the actual gameplay through. I didn't mind the first person, but again, it just doesn't really feel like a Resident Evil game. Yes, you're Chris, but it just didn't have the same. It didn't seem quite as scary either. But no, I really like zombies. I like zombies and the sort of the mutations, not the. Yeah, that's what I'd really like to see again. Proper zombies.
Would you want them to bring back like the old school zombies, or do you mean zombies in like a more sort of like modern kind of form with a new sort of spin?
Maybe a more modern spin. I mean, more like it's something completely slightly different. Is maybe like 28 days later zombies.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want it to change the game too much to like a Left 4 Dead game, but I mean, obviously that could give you a really different. It would bring it back to sort of its origins, but then still have a very difficult. Because I mean, could you imagine if zombies were running in those games?
Yeah.
Like,
oh man,
all the time.
it would be terrifying.
Running zombies, you just couldn't.
Well,
you couldn't dodge. You couldn't do anything. It would be very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, I
Crimson
genuinely
Heads everywhere.
had nightmares. Yeah, I had nightmares about Crimson Heads for ages. Like, the zombies in that game were terrifying enough, but then when the game takes it to that level that the zombies can run basically at the same speed as you, man, that was a real game changer. So yeah, that would be terrifying. For me, like, I do agree with you, Izzy. Like, I prefer the third person, and I feel they've absolutely nailed it in 2 and 3 remake. But it did take a while for me to get there, but I did finally click with 7, and the first person thing doesn't bother me so much now. For me, what I'm really hoping in 8 is that, they kind of keep it more to like how they did with 7, kind of keeping it that old school kind of horror style, And
Yeah.
it seems that there's glimpses of like 4 in a way, that there's sort of like, you know, sort of weird, quirky characters, you know, like Salazar
Yes.
and like characters like that. I
Yeah.
thought, you know, they worked really well. So I'm hoping that there's going to be some sort of weird and wonderful characters and story that's happening there. I also hope it's not too short as well. But I've got high
absolutely.
hopes for 8.
Yeah.
I think they should do a good job. So that was a really good question, Jay.
Yeah.
And we'll be having loads of live streams and stuff for 8 once it comes out later this year. Next question, which is from Swift Ryu, also known as Bobby McKenna. If you could add one fictional character from another series into the Resident Evil universe, who would you pick?
Oh.
I mean, that is a tricky one.
That is a question. If you think of your answer first, feel free to go ahead, because I've got a couple in my head that I'm just trying to work out the logistics of why I would put them in.
Yeah, I mean, okay, I'm going to say mine. This is the first one that came to my mind. Maybe I'm not thinking outside the box as much, but I would love Regina to be in Resident Evil. I know that she's from Capcom. I know it's another survival horror game, but I think as a character, she was great. Her arsenal of weapons as well would be a really cool addition to have in the series.
Yeah.
So for me, that would be my first choice. But man, you could really scratch your head thinking about that.
Absolutely. Yeah, because there's some that make logical sense. Like I don't know, if you take Lara Croft, for example, she would make perfect sense, really, coming into a sort of Resi game. But then you could throw in like a really bizarre character like Majima from Yakuza or something like that, where he's just beating the shit out of zombies with his bat. You know, you could really make it quite comical depending on who you chose. No, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to go with Majima from Yakuza because I want to see him beat the shit out of zombies, and Dead Souls was an alright game on the PS3.
Oh, that's fair enough. That's totally fair enough.
Yeah.
Nathan, the question was, if you could add any video game character from any universe into the Resident Evil universe, who would you pick? So I said Regina from Dino Crisis, just because I thought she was a great character, and I would love to have her weapon set in the series. I know who I don't think would work is Sonic the Hedgehog. We found out during the Resident Evil Challenger mod, Sonic the Hedgehog is the most annoying character to have in Resident Evil, so no for me. But yeah, who would you like to see, Nathan?
That's a good question, that is.
It is a really good question.
Yeah. Just while Nathan's thinking, one character I wish they would do something with in the games is Alice from the movies, because I think she is fucking awesome, and I love Mila Jovovich. So take that as you will. That's going to be really controversial in the chat.
Oh,
But
Izzy, that is so controversial. Oh man, it's like you've got the can of worms and you just went like that. Wow. But fair point. Fair point.
I reckon if you bring, I'd say someone like Marcus from Gears of War.
I knew you were going to say
that. You just love Marcus,
you were going to go for Gears of War.
Yeah. No, I think it'd be really funny just to see, because it'd be like unbelievably overpowered if he had his weaponry. It'd be just like, oh, there's zombies. There's no zombies. But, I think that would be pretty funny. Or another one, Barrett from Final Fantasy VII.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be really cool. Yeah, that's a good shout.
So when you change weapons, you just take your arm off and put a grenade launcher on or something. It'd be pretty cool.
Nice. Well, that answer actually segues us very well into the next question, which we got from Gaudi. It says, all of you, what's your personal game of the year? Well, I'm guessing you're not meaning 2021, as there's only been 14 days of this year. But yeah, my game of last year probably would be Final Fantasy VII Remake. Maybe only because I didn't finish that many new games from last year. I think the only new games I finished from last year were that and Resident Evil 3 Remake, possibly. But yeah, I would say Final Fantasy 7 Remake was my favourite of last year.
If you're going for games that we actually played last year instead of actually came out last year, I would go with Death Stranding. I finished that during January, and that is
fair.
a
That's a good
fucking
shout.
phenomenal game. But if you're going for
I'm
games
downloading
that
it at the
released,
moment. I'm going to start
it's
playing
amazing.
it next week, hopefully.
It's
Yeah.
incredible. But if you're going for games that released in 2020, then yeah, Final Fantasy 7 Remake and Yakuza 7, which I still haven't finished. They're the two. Yeah.
Nice. How about you, Nathan?
Nathaniel?
I struggle because I like lots of games, but I tend to always go back to a few. Now, taking Resident Evil out of the equation, because if it was Resident Evil, if Resident Evil was in it, it'd be Resident Evil 3 Remake, hands down.
Yeah.
Oof, that could be quite a controversial answer as well.
Yeah, but personally, I love the game. But taking them aside,
That's fair enough.
Games that, like Izzy said, played last year, and it's one that I've gone back to and I have so many hours on, and it is ridiculous. And Izzy probably knows what game I'm already talking about. Is Space Engineers.
Yeah, there we go.
I thought you might
just
say that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love the game. I mean, I've never played a huge amount of it in multiplayer, which I know it's quite designed for, but I just love the physics of it. I like building spaceships and fighting like stupidly big fights and with like other ships, and yeah, I just really like it. It's one of my all-time games. Is like if I ever, because I'll go through a bit of a phase where sometimes it'll be just like I just don't want to play any games, and then all of a sudden it would just be like I kind of fancy playing that for a bit. Yeah. And if anyone's ever seen my Steam account, it's probably standing at about 1,300 hours of gameplay.
Whoa!
I might add that this game, I'm actually going to have to look at when the release date was because I can't remember.
Oh, it was 2014, I think. Because you and I used to sit on the table and play it together, if you remember, when I got my first PC.
I think it's far older than that.
Do you reckon?
Yeah, I'm going to have a look quickly.
Or maybe 2012, maybe push it a few more years back.
I mean, I love that sort of game, that and sort of strategy games. Are probably my favourite anyway. Again, not including Resident Evil into this. It's October 2013, so it's a good 8 years.
Yeah, wasn't far off.
But yeah, no, it's that's probably my favourite one. Or I really, really enjoy Assassin's Creed Valhalla, which I haven't played again in quite a while. But yeah, it's a bit of a different game that I don't tend to play it very often. But yeah, no, that's good.
Nice. Very, very nice. Next question is from good old Creamy Elephant. It says, how many striped t-shirts does Nougie own? I mean, I'm thinking about them now. Oh, all right, fine. I'll go get my striped t-shirts. Give me 2 seconds.
Brilliant.
How many do we think there's going to be? I think there's going to be quite a handful.
I reckon 11.
I'm going to go with 9.
Go on, get your bets in, people, quickly.
Come on.
Oh,
Let's see
get your bets in. Right, so what? So we've got 1 that I'm wearing now.
1, yep.
And then we've got 2.
Yep.
Got. This is the last thing I thought I'd be doing during the stream. Got 3. Got 4. Got 5. Got 6. Got seven striped shirts. It
Oh,
might even
yeah.
be one or two in my
Hold on,
little
where's the
basket.
trivia?
Gowdy got it right. Gowdy got the
Where's
Oh
the
yeah,
Trivium
and the
question,
Trivium
though?
one. Sorry, yeah. So I've got the Trivium one that's I'm doing for
Oh, eight.
Challenge 2021. So it's actually 8. So
Abby.
8 is
Okay.
the correct answer there.
Oh, you're
Eight.
you nearly won it.
Did very nearly win. Cool. I'm quite enjoying this Q&A. This is really fun. But let me just get the next question up. Actually, how do you guys own any striped shirts?
I don't think I do.
No, I'm not sure I do. I think you've
Well,
got all of our striped shirts.
Yeah, you've got enough.
You obviously just don't have any taste in fashion. So I say that as you're wearing a Resident Evil
Can't pull
Challenger
off the-
t-shirt.
I can't pull off horizontal stripes.
Obviously not. Obviously not. Next question is from Wolfie. It says, for the next Resident Evil remake, would you prefer full co-op with item boxes, Code Veronica, or RE4? So for the next Resident Evil remake, would you prefer full co-op on Zero, with item boxes, Code Veronica, or Resident Evil 4? What would be your ideal remake?
Go on, Nat, you go.
Now, I'm going to say something that you guys probably wouldn't have thought. I would actually say Veronica.
Yeah.
Yes!
I think that being remade with a co-op, which would be interesting, definitely. I think that would be a really, really good game.
Yeah.
Don't get me wrong. I really want them to rebuild Zero in the Resident Evil 3 remake sort of gameplay. But if they cut out as much in Resident Evil 0 as they did in 3, for instance, I think I'd be very upset.
Yeah.
So
I don't think they can make that mistake again. I think they have been, slaughtered with what they did, with how much they cut out. So hopefully they've learnt from their mistakes. How about you, Izzy?
yeah, I think Code Veronica.
Yeah, no, I would vote for Code Veronica as well. I don't think Zero really needs a remake as much as it would be nice to have the co-op. I don't think it needs it. I definitely don't think 4 needs a remake at all.
No, I'm not fussed about 4.
Please don't touch it. Please don't touch it. I don't want to see a remake for 4, but CVX definitely needs a rejuvenation, because there's so many Resident Evil fans who haven't played it, so it would be so good to have it remade and then people experiencing it for the first time as well. That would be just really cool to watch. And we all know what your answer will be, Luke.
Well, as you say that, I did have to think about it. Obviously, Code Veronica is my answer, but a co-op Zero remade, because I know that the graphics do look great and everything, but Zero came out in 2002, 2001. That's nearly 20 years ago, so it is an old game. So I think a co-op Zero with the new engine would be amazing. So I'd be really on board for that. But yeah, Code Veronica would be my number one choice. Thank you for the questions and everything so far, guys. This is all coming in very nicely. Next question that we've got is from KidVirus53 that says, any characters you wished had a scenario to learn more about, such as Luis and Enrico? Any characters that you wish had any more scenarios? That's a tricky one. I need to have a think about that.
I would go with Billy and Rebecca.
Abby.
Because I hate how they have just been cut out of the RE universe, pretty much, and just not really mentioned too much. I know Rebecca gets a bit in the CGI films, but I don't really take that into account with the games. So, yeah, Billy and Rebecca, absolutely.
Yeah. I'd bet Billy, definitely, 100%. You could make another game out of just the tank engine.
Yeah.
Definitely. Other than that, maybe even like Steve from Veronica.
Oh, why did you have to say Steve?
No, because he's a bit of a yes, he's a knob, but his heart's in the right place, isn't it? he tries to help Claire out where possible, and he just falls a bit. Well, he gets the raw end of it in the end, doesn't he? So, but yeah, maybe a bit more, because there must be something more to him in the beginning. He couldn't have just randomly popped onto the island and just come out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, the thing with Steve is it's one of the most intriguing storylines they haven't finished off, because Code Veronica ends with Wesker taking away Steve's body to go and be experimented on, and they never, ever continued on with that story. So we have no idea what's happened with Steve, if they are continuing with that or anything. So, yeah, I do agree with you, and I also agree that Billy is also another huge unsolved mystery. No idea what's happened to him. You know, he made it out of zero, but then where did he go? But for me, this is a bit of a curveball, but I would actually say Nemesis, personally, because I really feel that they missed a massive trick on Resident Evil 3 Remake, because who Nemesis is, how he knows to hunt for stars, there could have been a really interesting storyline there. I was hoping there was going to be a STARS member that knew of all of the STARS members, so that was how it was like programmed into his head. You know, there was loads of really interesting storylines they could have done, but in the end, it was just some random thing that's been experimented on. Really, you know, Resident Evil 3 Remake really didn't add much to the big storyline picture there. So I feel they missed a trick, but for me, yeah, I'd always wanted to know more about Nemesis.
Absolutely.
Next question is from Seedol. It says, if they remake Resident Evil 4, then is there anything you would remove or improve upon?
Definitely wouldn't remove anything.
No, I don't think there's anything that I dislike about 4 and its mechanics. Except from maybe Ashley. Ashley might have to go if you're allowed to remove anything.
I'm sure Seedol would agree with you on that, actually.
Actually, no. Ashley shouldn't really be considered a bad AI, because she's there to fit a purpose, and she does that very well.
Yeah.
I wish you could make her more useful. Like, why Leon can't give her a fucking handgun and just teach her how to point and shoot?
Because he'll get shot in the back.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be such an interesting mechanic?
Turn of events is that you didn't kill Ashley. Ashley put two in the back of your head.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But would that not be a really interesting mechanic that maybe you could, I don't know, switch it on and off? And you could have the possibility of Ashley accidentally shooting you. So it's up to you whether or not you give her a weapon to fire with.
I'll give her a water pistol.
I'll give her a potato gun, mate.
No, because that can still hurt.
Yeah, true.
Hurt walking around with the potato cannon. Yeah.
How about you,
that would
Nathan?
be quite fun.
You're the master of Resident Evil 4. You know the game better than all of us. What would you change, or do you think it's good as it is?
I think it's good as it is. Nothing instantly jumps into my head to say, oh, that's got to go, or that could be made a lot better. I like the variety of guns.
Yeah.
That's very good, because they all have their benefits. You can probably do most of the game with just one of them, as long as you get enough ammo, give or take, whichever one. Ashley, yes, she's a pain in the arse, but if you took her out of the story or made it so she wasn't there as much, it would really take. I think you'd lose half the content of the game. No, I can't really think anything that I'd make. I wouldn't necessarily even add any more into it. I think it is pretty good. Maybe to see the dog in it again, that'd be quite cool.
Yeah, that is a very good point. Yeah, he should have been thinking.
You know, it'd be really good. It's like the very end of it where Mike's about to get shot down, is that the dog just comes out of nowhere and nails the guy with the RPG. Saves Mike, and then perfect.
I'll do you one better, actually. Yeah. Rather than that, what about if, just as you're getting on the jet ski, the dog jumps on your back, and then you have to ride out the end of the dog on your back?
That's good. Got it. Perfect.
Well, I wouldn't trust you. I wouldn't trust either of you with the jet ski, though. To be fair, so
no.
Let the dog.
As we found out in Izzy's Resident Evil 4 stream last year, that is definitely part of the Gibbard genes, the jet ski curse. So,
in all honesty, I was really hoping I wouldn't get it first try, because then I would hold such a standard that I would then have to live up to every time I played that game.
that's true.
I had to suck at it, otherwise it was just going to be too much pressure at the end of it.
Yeah.
Well, you did a great job. Jet ski, death or not, that was a great stream. So awesome stuff there. I mean, for me, with 4, I'm going to agree with Nathan. I'll kind of spin the question. What I really hope they don't remove is the whole attach case inventory system.
Yeah.
That's good.
I think I actually prefer the 4 inventory system over the newer Resident Evils. I get that it's way less convoluted and it's simpler and you can get things quicker. But I don't know. I just really like the mechanics of really thinking about what you're going to take and organising it and everything. So if they got rid of that system, I'd be quite annoyed, I think. So that's what I'd hope they'd really keep.
Yeah.
Right, next question. And this has actually been asked separately by Gaudi and Bobby. And both of them have asked, Nathan, why is your son not named Billy? Well, actually, no, sorry. Gaudi asked, why is your son not named Billy? And then Bobby asked, why is your son not named Nougie?
I don't think I can answer that one. I like his name, and you know, I think it would. No, I can't answer it. No, just can't. No.
I mean, well, I'll answer it for you. There can only be one Nougie, so there can only be one Logan.
There's only one Nougie. Yeah, one Logan, and I mean, if he turned into Billy the Tank Engine, then I'd probably die. So it's probably best not to.
Fair point. Well, we've also got quite a few Billies with Billy the cat as well. So
absolutely,
point.
He makes up for it.
Yeah,
he does. Next question is from Taj. This says the fans need to know when we are getting a. For God's sakes. The fans need to know when we are getting a Nougie fireman calendar. By fans, I mean Milo. Well, guys, I think we've just worked out the 20k incentive. We hit 20k, you'll get a Nougie fireman calendar. Maybe not. Oh, Taj.
No, Milo asked that earlier, and you skipped over it. It was
what, on the Discord?
Earlier, I spotted it. No, in the live chat.
Oh, really? Oh, I'm reading the donated ones first.
Oh no, no, I know.
Right. Next question. Sorry, this is taking. I think it's taking a while to reload. But a next question from Zemnis says, for Nathan, your thoughts on a Resident Evil 0 knife cocktails randomizer or Resident Evil 2 modded your scenario?
Oh. Randomizer knife and cocktails would be interesting. Definitely. Because not knowing where the leeches are, leech zombies and stuff like that are going to be, that would be quite difficult. And depending what sort of modded Resident Evil 2, would you mean like randomizer and Resident Evil 2 remake? Would be the question.
Think so, yeah.
Yeah. I haven't played it enough yet to actually know exactly where anything is. So I think, to be fair, if I just played it, it'd be like just playing it through again. Because I don't think I could pinpoint where everything is. Definitely give them both a go. 100%.
Yeah. I mean, we were actually speaking about this before the stream started. Yeah, because we were saying that the Resident Evil randomizer last week went down really well, and I was speaking to Nathan about doing a 0 randomizer if the opportunity came about. Yeah, no worries. But I was also speaking to Wolfie on the Discord about this, and it sounds like we're not sure how possible a 0 randomizer would be because of the whole point of no return with the whole train section and everything. So Yeah, I don't know if it is actually possible, and also I don't know currently if they're still working on it. But yeah, if they did do a zero randomizer, I think Nathan would be up for doing a live stream of it. And also, I feel like I know Zero well enough that I could also probably give it a go as well. So I think that would be a cool idea. But yeah, what are your thoughts on randomizers and everything, Izzy?
I don't think there's any one of them that I could kind of run through and know exactly what I'm doing, which I think would probably make it really interesting. The only one I would probably have a hope in hell in doing would probably be Zero.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's almost like that morbid curiosity, isn't there, to kind of chuck me into Remake doing a randomizer and just seeing how I get on with it. Because in theory, I can't really do any worse than what I would do if I was playing it normally. So
Izzy's first ever 24-hour live stream where she attempts one game.
Christ.
Yeah, I think randomizers.
Yeah, I mean,
go on.
I mean, I'd probably try it. Whether I would get to the end of it before sort of going, okay, right, you were right. I shouldn't have done this without knowing the game like the back of my hand. I think the only difference would be that obviously I couldn't get tips from yourself or from the chat. Only about where certain items are and where I might find something. But obviously, the thing that I'm probably looking for is not going to be there. So it's just whether or not, whether or not they would sort of give me enough hints with just where things are in general.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. The thing with randomizers is, I think they're only fun to play when you know the game well enough that you know exactly where you would normally find things.
Yeah.
So if you're trying to do a randomizer when you don't know where things would normally be, then it's just more confusing. And I don't know if that's necessarily like very entertaining to watch. But yeah, hopefully they will get a zero randomizer together. And if they do, we'll definitely be having some live streams for that in the future. Next question is from Wolfie. And he says, what's your favourite Resident Evil challenger, inside joke, or boss name? And I think he means as in like the boss names that we've made up for the bosses.
Oh. Mr. T's a favourite. Mr. T's always been a favourite.
Man, that is still one of the best things ever about last year. Mr. T being in the Resident Evil 2 modded edition.
Yeah.
That was incredible.
Yeah.
Absolutely amazing.
Oh, I don't know. Like, yeah, I think Mr. T's probably got it. I've always liked Father Ted the Crimson Head as well. I've always liked that one. That's always been a favourite. But no, I would probably have to go with Mr. T. I think Mr. T's like top tier of boss names that you've made up.
Yep, that's fair. And actually, that's a very good question to ask out to you guys watching at the moment. How, like, from watching our videos, and obviously you've got all of the nicknames like Father Ted, Jake the Snake, Earthworm Jim, Lemonader, like loads of them. Like, how often when you're playing the games yourselves do you end up using the Resident Evil challenger nicknames? Let us know in the live chat, and we'll have a chat about it later. But so a question for you, Nathan, is what's your favourite Resident Evil challenger inside joke, and what are your favourite boss names that we've made up ourselves, like Father Ted, Jake the Snake, Earthworm Jim, Lemonader, etc.
I like it's got to be. Oh God, there's some really good questions. Definitely got to be
really
Mr.
good
T.
questions.
For the boss.
Hey, there
100% Mr. T.
I could have put money on that.
And updates later.
Nice. Yep, that was great.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I'd say those two. either that or the random Conrad that came out of nowhere and got immortalised into a trailer.
Yeah.
I want to know how I managed to say it so many times, and it was only afterwards it was like, he doesn't say Conrad. It's like,
I can't believe we literally spent like a month making that whole trailer. He didn't even say the right word.
to literally.
But I'm glad
the
that you
last
didn't.
word.
I'm really glad you didn't. Oh, it was amazing.
Absolutely.
What would I say my favourite nickname is? My favourite nickname... I've always quite liked Earthworm Jim. And now that's transitioned into Earthworm Jim Newman. Hopefully you're watching. I always like Earthworm Jim. And yeah, I agree with you, Izzy. Father Ted was great. That was good. But yeah, I think the fine health thing is probably my favourite inside joke.
Yeah.
Just because Nathan, like, now, as I know it as an adult, like, doesn't have a squeaky voice or anything like that at all. You know, he has like quite a deep sort of voice. So it's just quite funny, just like the juxtaposition to fine health. Obviously, when you're very much like in the peak of your puberty, it was, I just love it. Just sometimes I'll just be here like just working, and I'll just be like, oh, fine health. I'll just say it to myself. Maybe I'm going a little bit mad this lockdown, but yeah, it's always put a smile upon my face. And sorry, I just realised I missed one little part of Zemnis's question from before, and that's for you, Nathan. What did you think of the modded Resident Evil 2? The Resident Evil Chandra edition?
I thought that is really cool. The modded version of Resident Evil, yeah. I like where I came into it. That was awesome. and the sound the gun makes. Just Christ,
oh my God. Yeah.
Literally. But no, it's brilliant. And I loved all the health items. They're amazing.
The Lucasade, such a cool idea.
I thought it was just brilliant. It was amazing. Well made, very well made. Loved it.
Yeah, no, it is great. I do feel we're incredibly lucky. I mean, yeah, I just never thought that we would sort of be immortalised like that anyone can play a game that we have played, I don't know, 50 times before with us and our voices and all of our references in. I think I'd honestly say it's one of the best things that's come out of Resident Evil Challenger. It's amazing. And I definitely want to, I think, moving forwards with future Resident Evil challenges, with Resident Evil 2, I think we should try and play that version. But I was actually having this conversation with Rob today. I said, if we are going to include it in future challenges, we have to get rid of that goddamn handgun sound effect. I don't think I could do that again.
No, you're not allowed to.
That was driving me insane. I'm sure he did it just to wind me up, but I don't think he could. But apparently he said it's very easy to change. So
change it to something completely different.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll find something even more annoying next time.
Yeah.
Next question is from Gaudi, and what has happened there? Sorry, our Skype has sort of disappeared. Never mind. Gaudi says, will we see some sibling rivalry during Challenge 2021? Do you guys get competitive at all?
Never. Not at all.
No, not at all.
I'm sure there will be. I really definitely want to do the Resident Evil 0.
Yeah,
idea.
absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
With the sausage dip.
Yeah, the fucking sausage
Tip.
Such twat. I wouldn't say I get competitive with Nathan. The thing, we were actually at stream, is that Nathan and I have been playing strategy games against each other for many, many, many years, and I have never beaten him ever, because Nathan just gets such a good idea in his head about how a game works, and he will study it and he will analyze it and he will do it to the absolute best of his ability, which means that I do not stand a fucking chance against him when playing anything. Like, I've never beaten him at a game of Age of Empires. Fucking Monopoly, I didn't beat you for about 13 years.
Until you started cheating.
Until I started using my rainy day fund. So yeah, I'm not going to get particularly competitive when we go through zero. Obviously, the stipulations for me aren't going to be as difficult as what Nathan's going to have, and that's purely because Nathan has run it 1,000 times before and knows it like the back of his hand. Regardless of that, I'm still not 100% expecting to beat Nathan at all, because Nathan is just the god of RE0. So.
Well, maybe with a randomizer. Now that if that came
there's
out,
a randomizer, I think that's it.
that would be the way.
Yeah,
to
that
really,
would level the playing field quite substantially.
Yeah, that would be the best way to level it out. I think is the randomizer. But it will be great fun. There's not going to be any sort of bad blood or anything between us, because we're not like that. So, but I'm definitely looking forward to it.
Nice, cool, okay. So yeah, if you guys just want to send in your last couple of questions, we're probably going to go for another 10, 15 more minutes. So the next question is from Seedol, and he says, do you think it would be interesting to see a backstory for the merchant in Resident Evil 4?
It'd be nice to see where he came from, because he literally is just like this random bloke. It's like,
yeah,
what you buying? Hello, stranger. But who the fuck are you?
Who are you?
But yes, I will have the ammo. I'll have that nice shiny new gun. But yeah, that would be quite cool. I'd like that.
Yeah. Again, like, I think they've missed a trick. Well, they haven't missed a trick because obviously it was a long time ago. But if they ever did do Resident Evil 4 remake, yeah, I think it would be cool to know a bit more about the merchant. But conversely, at the same time, there is something quite amazing about him being so mysterious. And I also wonder if his backstory will only disappoint. It will never be as good as the kind of stories that we have in our head about where he might come from. So yeah. The thing I always found most fascinating. Sorry.
As in, maybe it's Chris.
Maybe it's Chris. That would explain something. But yeah, the thing that I always found really fascinating by him is that you can kill him, and then he'll just appear at the next checkpoint. So that was always really quite interesting. So the next question through is from Gaudi, and he says, have any of you read the S.D. Perry novels, and what's your opinion? They're a great read.
No, I
can't say I have.
No.
I'm not much of a reader, to be honest.
No, I mean, me neither. I think from growing up with such intense audio, video stimulation from games and TV for a big part of my childhood, I actually have a very short attention span. So when I try and read books, I could probably read 2 pages, and then my mind just starts drifting off onto other things, and I'll find that I'll have then read 10 pages and not absorbed any of it. So I then have to go back 10 pages, and then I just sort of give up. I've just never really been much of a reader. But I did actually buy one of the S.D. Perry novels, but yeah, I just never actually ended up reading it. So. Next question through, and also I'm glad that it's not just me that's terrible at reading. The next question is from Benjamin Monk, and he says, what challenge did you think was the hardest with knife only? Oh, actually, sorry, I've misread that. What challenge do you think was harder than knife only? So have you ever done a challenge where you thought the stipulations were harder than knife only?
Bit of a weird one. I find Resident Evil, say, normal mode with all weapons harder than easy mode knife only. And the main reason being is actually because the item management on Resident Evil Zero is difficult at best, is not actually carrying weapons makes life on the game so much quicker. It's like, it's like trying to think, oh yeah, I'm going to use a grenade launcher there, but then, I've got to backtrack 7 rooms to go and get all my ammunition to then fight it. I mean, again, normal mode, that's going to be a completely different story, because if it was a normal easy versus all weapons, sorry, a normal knife only versus normal all weapons, then that'd be a completely different story. But over those like 2 ideas, I find knife only much easier on easy than having all the weapons.
Yeah,
Definitely.
I think that's one of the key benefits of knife only, is that you only have one weapon, so your inventory is far easier to manage and everything. There's not many stipulations, I would say, that are harder than knife only, other than healing ones, but there haven't been loads of them.
I've got an idea.
For me, like, I'd say the 2 hardest stipulations I've ever done are the invisible enemy knife only, which I did in Challenge 2020 and Challenge 2010, and then also when I did the found weapons only challenge on a new game on Resident Evil 4 on professional mode. That was one of the few times when I just actually had to just stop and quit because it just wasn't possible. So that wasn't knife only, and I would say that was probably the trickiest stipulation that I've ever done. So I would probably say that, to be fair. Next question from Bobby. What's the thing you guys are most looking forward to after lockdown?
Bit of freedom.
Yeah.
I think just
Challenge 2021.
Yeah, I would say the challenge is high up. Yeah. I think just like going out and doing sort of normal shopping without having to worry about how close you're standing next to a person. It's just the little things, isn't it? It's like going food shopping, and that is like the most terrifying thing at the moment, because you're just like, oh shit, I'm going to get in trouble if I stand too close to you. I'm going to get in trouble if I walk past you. It's just like, you just feel like eyes are on the back of you at all times.
Yeah.
So I think just being able to walk around just normally is kind of what I'm looking forward to the most.
Yeah.
And yes, and as Jay just rightly put in the chat, going for that Japanese that we've promised. So.
I know. Yeah. Well, that was coming up to a year ago, but just haven't been able to do it. But yeah, I too am looking forward to doing that. For me, I think the thing I'm missing most is just being able to hang out with friends again. Like when I've been really lucky, I've been able to like see one friend at the pub, or maybe 2 friends at the pub. But I just miss being able to see like a couple of friends and, to go around someone's house and play some games or have a couple of beers. It's really, really simple, but I just haven't been able to do that in so long. And that also goes to the challenge as well. Like it's crazy that we were starting the ideas for the challenge 2020 this time last year, a whole year ago. And nearly a whole year has passed since the trailer has gone out, and we still haven't been able to have us 3 households together to do the challenge, which is why, it's been good actually, because it's meant we've had loads more content, we've raised more money, got more challenges, 2 or potentially 3 challenges now. So it has been good, but it is just frustrating because, like I love doing these Q&As and things, but as we found today, it's just like it's weird having Skype and not being able to do it in person. So as soon as we are able to do things in person again, it's going to be so much better. So
it's going to be much better.
Definitely.
100%.
Right.
And as some sweet Chim just put in the chat, definitely looking forward to getting tattooed as well.
Yeah.
Oh, have you got some designs in mind?
Yeah, I've got a few in mind. My lady moved up to Birmingham quite a while ago, so I need to go back up and see her to get my arm finished. But then there's a lady down in Brighton that I want to see as well for this arm. So, yeah, definitely getting the getting the withdrawal symptoms that comes along with getting heavily tattooed for years and then stopping.
Yeah.
Mm.
Fair enough. Hopefully it's not too much longer before things
Yeah.
open up again.
Yeah,
Right,
absolutely.
let's do the final 3 questions. So, sorry, just going through some of these. Man, there's so much in this chat. Oh, there we go. it's not a question. Grizzo just donated £2 and just said scratch and sniff master. I mean, I was to be fair, I'm surprised it took him this long to say that. I thought that would have been the first donation we've got, to be fair. So yeah, that's fair enough. We've answered most of these. Sorry, 1 second, guys. The next question from Benjamin Griffiths. Do you think you'll add in a no health upgrades as a wild card for Resident Evil 4 in the future?
Jesus. That'd be so difficult.
Would that be
So basically no
difficult
yellow herbs, essentially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be so hard, but yeah, it'd be quite a good one.
Mm-hmm.
Because I remember when I played it through on normal for the first time on like the Xbox, it was just like, we know when you're that low on like the bog standard health, even one hit from like a normal guy would pretty much wipe you out, and then the second hit would kill you.
Yeah.
So that would be really difficult. But yeah, I'd be interested to give that a go.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that would be cool. We've not done no yellow herbs before. I mean, we've done like no blue herbs, no red herbs, no green herbs. But yeah, we've never done no yellow herbs. I mean, I don't think. Well, you couldn't do that on professional mode in a challenge. No way. That'd be way too hard. But depending on the weapons that you get, I think it could be doable. But yeah, you'd have to factor in a fair chunk of time. But yeah, thanks for that, Ben. It's definitely worth something worth considering. I don't know why that slipped my mind. I never really thought about it, but yeah, good point. Next question from Wolfie, and he says this is a repeated question, but will all Resident Evil 6 campaigns be back-to-back? Oh, no, sorry, I've misread that. Repeated question, all Resident Evil 6 campaigns back-to-back, or Resident Evil 5 co-op with Gaudi? Which would you rather do?
Resident Evil 5 co-op with Gaudi. That's like, the answer's there. The first answer is like a pile of shit, and then you've got Gaudi's name like in gold lettering. Like, that's such an easy question. That's been the easiest one of the night.
Yeah.
Or what about
it is for me?
All Resident Evil 6 back to back with Gaudi.
That's also much better than doing Resident Evil 6 by yourself.
Well, yeah.
True.
There you go, Gaudi. I've got an idea.
Yeah. You know, I'm never going to say a bad word about Gaudi, so.
No, of course not. And also, guys, don't forget the 20k incentive. If we get 20k this year, then Gaudi has promised us that he will be doing all Resident Evil 6 scenarios back to back for 48 hours. So, yeah, let's keep that fundraising, guys. And also, following on from that, Guardian J asks, he's basically reposting what Some Sweet Trim, such a tongue twister there, Some Sweet Trim asked earlier, what's your favourite game everyone loves to hate?
I don't think I have a game that everyone else hates. I mean, Final Fantasy 13 is my favourite out of the series, which is very controversial amongst Final Fantasy fans. However, I do have a very controversial opinion that Rockstar and CD Projekt Red are both entirely overrated. That's my opinion on both of those companies, is that they get a lot of love for those games, and I can kind of see it, but GTA is definitely not my cup of tea. Red Dead is good, but it's not like the best thing ever. Yeah. No, I think that's more my controversial opinion is, their games are overrated, personally.
Yeah, that's fair enough. How about you, Nathan?
I really don't know. I can't think of a game that everyone hates. I mean,
Resident
I don't
Evil
know
6?
Not everyone hates
Resident Evil 6, but I wouldn't.
A lot of people hate 6.
I wouldn't say it's really up there, but no, I can't really think of any game that everyone despises. No, I actually can't think of anything. What do you think, Luke? Let me have another think for a minute.
I'm in a very similar boat to you, but what I will say, and this is a long-standing beef that I've had with Creamy Elephant for quite a few years. There's a game that I've loved since my childhood. It's one of my favourite games of all time. It's on PlayStation 1. It was called The Unholy War, and you basically have two factions. You have the Arcane faction and you have the Technos faction. And it's basically a fighting game, and you have an army of like 10 different characters. Each character has 3 different attacks, and it's a bit like Pokemon in a way, in that each character has one enemy that they're really strong against and one enemy they're really weak against. So it's a strategy game in choosing the right person for the right fight. And when I met up with Creamy Elephant and we did our live stream, I showed him the Unholy War, and he thought it was an absolute piece of trash. I never understood why, because it's one of my most favourite games. I don't understand why he hates it so much. So it's not everyone, but I'd definitely say that. Unholy War. There we go. Guardian J saying, yes, I'm with Nougie.
Yeah.
Guardian J knows it.
Yeah.
Me and Guardian J will have to do a stream to show the world why Unholy War is a great game.
Yeah.
And the
if
next
we're going
question,
off of games that Jack hates that I don't, is the Tomb Raider reboot. Jack gives them so much stick, but I think they're all pretty great, apart from Shadow, which isn't amazing. But Jack,
what else do you guys hate about Jack? Should we turn this into a Q&A about why we all hate Creamy Elephant? That's not true. We love you, really, mate.
Yeah, we love you.
Next question is from Grizzo. I know I said the final 3, but we've still got donations coming through. Question from Grizzo that says, what's your favourite takeaway? That's a good question.
Chinese.
Oh, wow! I mean, there was no time in that. That was seamless. Wow, Chinese.
Yeah.
Do you also fall into the Chinese coma situation that Gaudi has?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
You both nodded perfectly in time there. That was really bizarre. What would I say my favourite takeaway is? I'm kind of split between... It's funny, we were actually talking about this on Discord earlier. I'm split between... I really like Honest Burger with rosemary fries. I also really like... when I was living in London, there was this amazing Japanese place that was just around the corner from my house. And whenever you guys did a live stream, I would always get a Japanese. I'd be sat there, be eating some of that. Oh, it was amazing. So, yeah, that was really good. So I'd say probably between those two. What do you guys normally order on your Chinese takeaways? What'd you go for?
Lemon chicken is my thing.
Lemon chicken is
Pork
the one.
balls.
I love lemon chicken.
Yeah.
Pork balls with sweet and sour sauce. Definitely.
Yeah.
100%. And shredded chili beef.
Nice, yeah. Chili beef's great.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice, cool. Okay. So the final question we are going to ask tonight, and also thank you very much for your questions this evening, guys. Final question tonight is from Seadoll, and it's to all 3 of us, and it says, if you had to choose 5 games to play for the rest of your life, what would they be?
I think I can.
Tell you what,
answer
let's
this
turn this into 3 games. Otherwise, this will go on for ages. 3 games each.
Actually, I think I could answer
No, I
5
could do
pretty
5.
easily.
Okay, all right. If you can do 5, go for 5.
Go on then.
Right.
Nat.
Right. So the Ark Survival Evolved. Actually, some people might dislike that game, but I really like it, and me and Katie play a lot of it, or have played a lot of it. Not playing at the moment, but I really like the game. I just like taming dinosaurs and just going on rampages. Really fun game. Absolutely love it.
Nice.
And there's the sort of survival games that I really. It's another like love that would definitely be in there. Then. Probably Gears of War. I'd say 5 because it's one we're playing at the moment. Again, me and Katie like playing it. It's a really, as much as it can be very difficult and frustrating at points. It's a very. I just love shooting the shit out of stuff for ages.
As we all know.
As we all know.
Resident Evil 0 would have to be in there, 100%.
Of course.
Oh God, nah, actually we're sort of running out now. Maybe this wasn't as easy. Space Engineers, 4th one.
Yep.
And ooh.
I reckon I know what your 5th one could be.
Now, I would like to say more Resident Evil games, but I'm thinking longevity here as well. It's only games you can play, because you can make a very long game out of it. 7 Days to Die.
Yeah.
Nice.
That's what I was
Yeah,
thinking
that's
for you.
fair.
Yeah.
That's a fair shout.
Go
How about
on,
you,
Iz,
Izzy?
you're up next then.
Right. Yakuza 0. Stardew Valley. Darkest Dungeon. Breath of the Wild. How could you forget Stardew?
Can we make it 10 games?
No. Can't.
Yeah.
And Final Fantasy 13. Yeah,
Wow.
That's easy. It's like my top 5 games, so you know it's easy.
Quick fire round.
It's easy.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay,
Dark Cloud.
so-
Good shout, Wolfie.
Yeah, Dark Cloud. Yeah.
Oh, Fallout.
I've never played Dark. I've never
Can
played
it
Dark
please
Cloud
be 10
before.
games?
Oh, go on. Go for another
Fallout.
5. Give us another 5.
Yeah, go on.
Right. Fallout 4. Stardew Valley, definitely. Dark Cloud is one I haven't played in a very long time, but I used to love that game, and it'd be nice to have a bit of a nostalgia game. Resident Evil 3 remake.
Oh, wow.
I'll put that in there because it's quite a quick. Because it is quite a quick game. It's quite a
I thought
nice
you
one
needed
to
a game
sort
of
of pick
longevity.
up. Yeah, but that's with 5 games. And maybe Code of Veronica, just because it would be a good game to master.
Oh.
And that's got some longevity.
Whoa.
Oh my
There you
god,
go.
that is a curveball.
Controversial,
Wow, I did not expect you to say that. Wow,
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Interesting. I don't know if I could go for 10 because I think I'll be here for too long. I'm gonna go Pokemon Leaf Green, like the remake. Really like
Good
that.
choice.
Yeah.
Skyrim.
Yeah.
The Sims
Good
1, just because I bloody love
Yeah.
The Sims.
Which add-ons though? Because they
Resident-
would be classed as separate games. Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm joking. You could have all the add-ons.
You can have all the
Yes.
add-ons.
Well, there was one that you could get where you got all the add-ons. What was it? It was like Sims
I think it's. They did a
Complete
collection.
collection or something.
Yeah.
Complete Collection.
Yeah.
That was it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sims Complete Collection, Resident Evil 2, and Unholy War, of course. So
There we go.
probably
Yeah.
those games. You need a couple of RPGs in there, I think. So
Absolutely.
yeah, those would be the ones I'd go for. But yeah, that has been a very, very good Q&A session.
Yeah.
We
I enjoyed that.
Just see how
Definitely.
much we've actually raised tonight. So tonight you guys have raised £95 and 61 pence. So that is
Nice.
some awesome stuff.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much, guys. Yeah, we should do another one of these again, actually. I feel like there's still a load more questions to get out there for sure. But
And I'm sure the fireman calendar question will come up again as well. You're going to be requesting.
And on that note, we'll see you guys next week. Bye. No, it's been it's been really fun having you guys back in today for this Q&A. We were saying earlier, we can't believe that it's now less than 6 months, hopefully, until Challenge 2021 goes ahead. So yeah, we've got more streams and stuff coming up over the next couple of weeks. And yeah, as I mentioned at the start of the stream, if you go into the description, we've got our brand new Resident Evil Challenger t-shirts in the NHS Blue design. All of the profits will be going towards the Healthcare Workers Foundation, towards their family fund. So if you like the new design and you want to represent Resident Evil Challenger, order yours now. The email is in the description. But yeah, thank you very much for joining us all this evening. It's been a very good Q&A session.
Thanks a lot, guys.
Thank you for your donations. And the next live stream we have planned is my Resident Evil 3 Inferno run next week. So, Gaudi just donated £4.39 to bring us exactly up to £100. Thank you very much, Gaudi.
Oh, Gaudi.
Thank you very much, Gaudi. So, yeah, we will see you guys next week. And, yeah, thank you for joining us. Stay safe and hope you have a nice weekend.
Yeah, see you guys later.
See you later.
Cheers. Bye.
Bye.
Resident Evil Challenger.